Good morning. So the Lord laid on my heart today to kind of give you just a breakdown of my testimony, really. And boy, howdy, don't ever think that you're just hopeless. I'm telling you what, I was a crazy dude. I was born and raised in a Christian home, and I felt like I was just getting God shoved down my throat right and left, and I was just never gonna ever get it right. Just wasn't ever gonna happen for me. So I left home. I was about 15, 16. I went and moved in with a buddy of mine up in Clarksville, Arkansas, and I literally, all I took with me was a bag of clothes and a coon dog. Always paying people off to get me beer. Well, that one thing led to another, and the older I got, I started fiddling around with other things. So, in other words, I was going 100 miles an hour in the opposite direction of God. As fast as I could go, foot on the floor, no brakes. Then I got into drugs. When I say drugs, I'm not talking about marijuana. I got into meth. And I was a crazy dude. I'm talking about anybody that knows me now that knew me then, they'd be like, there ain't no way, it's just a matter of time. I was a wild son of a gun. I mean, wild. I was just 100 mile an hour down every back road, sideways, kissing oak trees as they went by, just homeless, living under bridges, just in a tent, out in the woods, hiding, spent all my efforts and time looking for arrowheads and jamming needles in my arm, praying that I wouldn't die. Kind of ironic, I was praying that I wouldn't die while I'm doing it to myself. And that path just got rockier and rockier and rockier. And a lot of people don't really understand addiction, but I mean, a lot of people think they understand addiction, but a lot of people, they really just don't. And you just have, there's some things about that it takes you to a mental place to where you feel nothing. You don't feel anything. You don't have any desire. You don't care about what you have and what you don't have, as long as you're high. You don't care. You'll make it work. You'll figure it out. You'll do something. You do anything. You will try so hard to no avail. Well, then a few years ago, I got off the drugs. My dad took me up to a cabin way out in the middle of nowhere in the mountains in New Mexico, where he currently lives. And he took me up there, and I got off the drugs. Cold turkey did. Oh man, the willpower, blah, 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 blah. I still, even being at a Baptist church camp in the mountains, I was feeling God's presence too there. I knew it was real, but I didn't care. Everything else was overriding it. Like, I was still stuck in that mental place that is just like such a dark, deep hole of despair. And well, I did. I quit the meth. I got off of it. As soon as I got back, I doubled my drinking. I was just filling that void with anything but God, because I didn't want nothing to do with it. So I taken my drinking doubles. Well, then I just kept being wild. You know how wild it gets, and you really don't care when you're drunk all the time. So anyway, I ended up out in Colorado, and came back from Colorado and got stranded at a bus station, and I was a mad sucker. I did not want to be in Polk County, Arkansas. The last place I wanted to be in my whole life. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. God put me here. He made it to where I couldn't run from him. And A few days went by, a couple months. I worked a little bit, got some fines out of the way. Well, I ended up meeting my current wife, and she she did something to me inside that just made me uncomfortable. I couldn't deal with myself. I was just like, oh man. Didn't quit drinking. I kept drinking. So I took off on her. And I got a bus ticket. I was going back to Colorado. Just because that's the only job I had lined out in the whole world. And I get out there, or I'm on my way out there. We're on a bus, and I am, and this old man comes walking by me, and he said, "Can I sit down there?" I said, "Yeah." So this old man, he sits down beside me, and he didn't really say nothing, you know. And I was on my phone texting Tyra, and you know, I was giving her the whole fake spiel about, oh well, you know, we can be together, I'll come back someday, blah blah, bull crap, you know, type thing. But then we started talking about more serious stuff, you know, but that's personal. But anyway, I had clicked out of my messages for just a little bit, and my background picture was still Tyra, and it was a beautiful picture of her. And this old man, he said, "Who's that?" I said, "Well, I left her sitting in the rear view mirror crying on the front porch." He said, "Well, that's pretty stupid." I just kind of looked at that guy. I was like, "Man, who are you? What?" And we talked a little bit. This guy just gave me just blunt answers with no, kind of like how Jesus talked, really. I mean, that was his whole attitude. His whole demeanor was just like that. And I asked him, I said, "Where are you headed?" He said, "Ecuador eventually." Okay, that's kind of a weird answer for somebody on a bus in Oklahoma. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "My name is Torn." I said, "Torn?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Like Torn? Torn?" He said, "Yeah." Okay. We got to talk a little bit or whatever. And he was just a really just calm, collected guy. I mean, I just had no ill feelings about him at all. Like I was just kind of drawn to this guy. And we talked a little more, and somewhere in our conversation, I changed my mind, just like that. So you know what? I'm going back. Next bus stop, I'm gonna turn around and go right back. Whether she takes me back or not, at least I tried, you know. And I get off the next bus stop, and this guy's behind me in line. And I turned around, and I shook his hand. I said, "Well, it was good to meet you, man." And he said, "You too, son." He said, you be good in life, and you do that woman right." And he had a tear in his eye when he said that. Well, I walked off to go to the bathroom. And I mean, I took 2 or 3 steps, and I turned around and I said, "Oh, hey, by the way." That guy was nowhere to be found. Big, wide open parking lot in the middle of, I'm talking about, vanished into thin air. That overwhelmed me. I went and sat down, and I actually cried in the corner for a minute because I just felt like I had been in the presence of an angelic being. And I still to this day and will always feel like that. I got back to my baby, and she said, "You're gonna have to quit drinking if you're gonna be with me," which is what I was running from in the beginning. In the first place, I didn't realize this until later on. Once I got a little more spiritually mature and had a brain finally, you know, I realized I was just running from the man that I had to become to have a woman like that, period. Thank God it was her. So anyway, I quit drinking, and I'm an extremist, so I went cold turkey with it. Cold turkey. It actually put me in the hospital because I went cold turkey with it. My body was freaking out. Like, what do I do? Because I've always drank, and I mean drank like I don't mean just here and there and make excuses and have 1 or 10, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like, if I ran out of beer, it was a problem. What are we selling? I mean, I was a drinking machine. And anyway, it put me in the hospital, and that woman sat by me the whole time I was in the hospital for pretty much a week, praying to God that my organs didn't shut down and all that. We get back home, and she finally talked me into going to church with her. Okay, I'll go to church. I don't care about God anyway, but I'll go to church. I'll go with you, just because you asked me. I get to the church. Pastor Judd Taylor said something. It just went all through my spirit. I couldn't stop crying. It just broke. The chains broke right there, and I was truly saved. It's kind of hard to tell this. I think we'll laugh, but anyway, I gave my life to the Lord that Sunday. The very next day was a Monday. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that same pastor married me and Tyra. And I have been 100 miles an hour toward the Father and the will that He has for my life ever since. Nothing is going to shake my faith. Nothing is going to make me say no to God or run from Him ever again. Maybe that'll help somebody. Just don't ever feel like you're hopeless, because you can be at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, underneath the barrel. You can't even find it at the bottom of the barrel. It's not hopeless. God is real, and He will impact your life. He will grab you by the heart. He will put a knot in your throat. He will put things in your head that you don't understand. You just roll with it. It's part of obedience. Hope is real. Faith is real. Jesus is real. If you don't have a relationship with God, you are really missing out. I love everybody. Thank you.